Hi, Joe here for GoonerTube, and I'm with Andy. Post Manchester United 0, Arsenal 1. Fantastic away win. We finally got to beat one of the top six away, which is a great result. So we can quash those demons. How are you feeling about the result generally, Andy?
You know what, Joe? It's 12 hours, 13, 14 hours since the result. I've had a time to sleep, and it still feels bloody good. I
Good.
can't recall a performance like that I've really kind of felt proud to be Arsenal again for 2 or 3 years at least. It just felt just the best overall performance. There was not one player didn't perform. Everyone stood up. It was great. So come away with it just thinking, actually, you know what? We are on the right track. All those Arteta doubters from after Leicester, quite frankly, up yours. We're on the right path as far as I'm concerned, and it was just lovely to see.
Yep, absolutely. I agree 100%. Now I'm going to ask you what I've asked other people, and that is, I pretty much know the answer, but standout players for you?
Yeah, it's got to be Partey. I thought was awesome. Again, not with he didn't set the world alight, but he just did all the things perfectly well. There was no kind of moment you think about. Actually, I remember that pass. I remember this. He's just solid throughout. I mean, it's just that kind of that confidence and the ability to sit on the ball. He picks the pockets of everyone, which I know there's been lots of reference to that, but there's been loads of that going on with the Man United midfield. It's just, I just find him. He oozes confidence,
Yeah.
and we don't have that. It's a bias, sometimes on the ball, it's all a little bit kind of maybe a little bit predictable sometimes, but he just protects the ball so bloody well. And again, I don't want to liken him to Vieira, but very Vieira-like in terms of how he keeps control of the ball.
Yeah.
And always looking forward. So for me, Partey, and the other one that didn't get a massive mention, I didn't feel some of the things I've seen on social media, was Tierney. I love Tierney. I have to say, he's so consistent.
Yeah, he is very, very consistent, and the way he had Adam mentioned that he comes across as a really typical British sort of player. He can play it out from the back. He can do tippy tapper, but he's also not afraid of hoofing it if he needs to,
Absolutely. Yeah.
which is great. I'm going to mention one other player here, and you can let me know what you think. But
Yeah.
considering how he has been playing, I thought Lacazette actually had a really, really good game last night.
Yeah, I completely agree. If you remember the last video that you and I had a catch up with, I slated Lacazette.
That's why I
Because
said it,
oh, thanks, mate. He's just so frustrating. The other night, he was really frustrating. But again, I can't fault the guy. His hold up play was pretty good. There was a lot of energy. He felt as if he gave a shit, which I loved. We need a bit of that from him. So yeah, I'm the same as you, Joey. You know what? I think he performed really well. And again, go back to what I said. There's not one player that you could really rip apart. One other one, I just want to just add, and forgive me if you're going to come onto this. I have been so critical of Elneny for 2 years, to my friends, to my family. He's just one of those midfield players. You think he's just that mediocrity. We've just got these group of players. Get rid of them. Mustafi, get rid of them. There's 5 or 6 in there. Just get rid of them. They're just a waste of space. And to be fair to Elneny, he's proved a load of us wrong. What a last couple of games he's had. And you know what? Keep him in midfield. Him and Partey have just been a revelation together.
Yeah, absolutely. He epitomised what a midfielder is all about, and it was pointed out to me as well, talking to Partey just quickly, that he showed Bruno Fernandes what a world-class midfielder looks like, and I thought that was quite a nice,
Absolutely.
quite a nice statement. But coming back to Elneny, this season especially, Kaya has been banging on about Elneny, and he said that he feels he needs to be given a run in the side next to Partey. Looks like that's happening now. I suppose it depends who we're playing and as to the formation that Arteta decides to put out. But you can't compare
Yeah.
anything that Granit Xhaka has done this season with that performance last night from Elneny. It was fairly faultless, and also it wasn't just that. The work rate of the guy is unbelievable. That was never in doubt. I don't think that his work rate, his
No,
tenacity.
I agree.
But I think being played in the right position and being given that responsibility, I think, really, and also having someone like Partey next year it's going to boost your game, isn't it?
Absolutely. And you know what I found with Elneny? I think you and I have discussed this, Joe, and I think I've been critical of him for the last couple of years, as I said. You know, he's that crab player, isn't he? We talk about, pass sideways, backwards, sideways, backwards. You know, he's been that sort of player, but that's because he's probably been coached that, so previous managers before him, that was probably how he was told to play, right? But if you see the last game, and obviously yesterday's game, he was so forward thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, there was occasions we had to. I mean, that's just using your brain, right? Sometimes you've got to play back. I get it, right? But he was driving forward. He was passing forward. Always looking in front of him. I feel like I don't want to get too excited because Arsenal players have a tendency. You big them up. They've just completely changed to the player you used to know them as, and they go back to their old self.
Yes.
But if he carries on like that, he's got to be a first choice.
Absolutely. I don't see how Xhaka would be able to get back into that position if Elneny carries on playing as he's playing. Now, like I mentioned, it depends on who we're playing. Is he going to play? Will he play 2 in midfield? Will he play 3 in midfield? How would he play it? So that depends on how Arteta is going to set the side up, obviously. But I think Elneny especially has warranted a good run in the side and also cemented his place definitely up there as one of the first choice midfielders alongside, Thomas Partey, who's obviously going to be the mainstay, the main man in the midfield. So it's who partners Partey, isn't it, really? But as things stand, I think Arteta did a fantastically brilliant tactical job on Manchester United last night. He
really did, and the other thing as well, Joe, is in that midfield. You think about we've been critical, be very static, I guess. And I think, and again, who would have believed that Elneny would be that one to actually give a bit of drive, a bit of kind of encouragement going forward. Actually a positive thinking player. Again, I hold my hands up because I've got it massively wrong with Elneny. He was top of my list actually at one point about a year ago to say that he's the first one out the door. And I've got it wrong massively.
Even in front of Mustafi, that's unbelievable.
At one point probably was ahead of Mustafi, to be fair, because we didn't have a bleeding back four, quite frankly. We had no backup, did we, to be fair? So the only reason I wouldn't have got Mustafi one top of the list is simply because we didn't have any backup or quality backup.
And penetrative play, I mean, getting right up to the goal and not being able to convert those chances. Do you think that will come, or do you think it's just that we were just unlucky, or what?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of still that. If you're really nitpicking, I think if you look at yesterday's game, there was a couple of times when that creativity just wasn't there. The ambition was there. I think the desire was there. Sometimes you kind of felt it just needed some player just to open up something, just create something different. And that's being extra critical because we did create chances and we could have put 2 or 3 up at half time. Let's be honest. What the most frustrating thing out of everything, Joe, let's be honest, that Leicester game, if we'd have played 3/4 of how we did yesterday against Leicester, we'd have come away with 3 points. There's absolute no doubt. It felt as if we've gone into the Man United game as the home team and was really up for it and proactive, and Leicester at home, it felt like we were the away team and we were just kind of trying to catch them on the counter attack. It's like it was all kind of asked about face.
Yeah, I mean, like what you're saying is right. I mean, we could go on all day about that, can't we? This is Arsenal we're talking about. If buts and maybes, if my auntie had a pair of nuts, she'd be my uncle. Yeah. So unfortunately, it's just with Arsenal, it's been so unpredictable, especially towards the end of the Wenger era, and then under Emery, we sort of lost our way. And but it seems like that Arteta is starting to steady the ship even as early as this, which is great to know. I mean, if we can use this as a springboard, then I can't see that we won't be challenging for a top 4 position. I mean, we're only what are we only 2 points off of second.
Yeah.
So it goes to show you how important that Leicester game was, and just getting a point from that. I mean, I think we talked about this 4 points from 2 games. I think I spoke about it with a couple of the boys, and how important that extra point would have been. But it's gone the other way around, isn't it? That I thought we would get 3 points at home to Leicester, and I thought we hopefully would get a draw away at Man United. As it stood, we needed a win, but we got it.
Yeah, absolutely. And just one little kind of reference back to Roy Keane. It was pre-game. I don't know if you heard it, but as a Roy Keane hater of many years and the Vieira battles, I took great delight. Before the game, he mentioned about how poor this Arsenal side were, and the fact that Man United, the way the Man United are playing at the moment, they should rip them apart. I'm paraphrasing, but words to that effect, right? And but it was almost like talking. Arsenal aren't the '90s side that he knows of. I get it, right? But Man United, he was bigging them up as if they were kind of like these world beaters suddenly. And like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah,
they're down the bottom half for a reason.
I know.
And I take great delight in throwing that back in Roy Keane's face.
We all take great delight, especially when a certain channel choose their pundits and their commentary team as 90% Man United, and when it comes round and bites them on the backside. Then, having said that, Gary Neville he has to remain professional, and he is quite humbled by it, and he did say that we were the better side. So
Gary Neville did, to be fair to him. Yeah,
so at least that's something, and always makes me laugh when commentators like Gary Neville say about little tricks of the trade that certain players do to try and get themselves free kicks. And I thought he was the master at that sort of thing.
He really was.
They tend to forget that they were players and they used to do all this stuff, But there you go.
He had a little dig at Tierney, I think, for doing something or other, and Tierney did exactly what you did 10, 15 years ago now.
Exactly. We've all done it. I played fullback.
Of course.
I used to do little tricks and things to get win free kicks. That's what you do. You break the play up. And Tierney was doing exactly what Neville used to do all the time. Although, having said that, Tierney tends not to leave his boot in like Neville used to do.
That's true.
And then cry when he got a kick. But that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Great result, and like I say, hopefully this is a springboarder for the Arsenal to move on to Villa and get another 3 points hopefully next week at the Emirates.
Let's hope so, Joe.
Thanks for joining me.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.